Hold on, there we go. All right, good morning, guys. We got a lot of stuff going on. Oil is actually falling down this morning. We are at 86.60s right now for oil. 86.60. All right, good morning, guys. We got a lot of stuff going on. Oil is actually falling down this morning. We are. Let me mute this. There we go. Sorry if you guys heard that. We are here. What's up, John, Jonathan, Yellowfin, Ara, Rory, VA, Gamer, Nathan, Checkboard, Frank. Yeah, so the big story that we have going on right now is we had a potential ceasefire in the mix. You can see yesterday at the end of the day, around the closing bell, really, we had news that the president is pushing for a 30-day ceasefire. The problem is Iran doesn't necessarily agree with this, going by their verbiage that we see now and some of their verbiage prior to this conflict starting. They're not necessarily, I don't think, on board with this. I do have my friend here, Britt, today. Hold on, let me make sure you guys can actually hear him. I might have to turn the music down substantially. Give me 1 second. I got too many screens up. But yeah, it's an interesting day. What's up, fam? What's up, Harry? What's up, Chavo? Good morning. You get my like off the bat. Hey, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. What's up, Rob, Dream, Pawn, Frank, Nathan, Checkboard? Let me make sure you guys can hear my friend here. Hold on. He's going to be joining us. Hold on. Let me do, I got too many screens up here, guys. I really do. All right, Britt, you there, bro? Let me see.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, let's do a sound check. Can you guys hear him?
What's up?
Can you guys hear?
Anybody there?
Yeah, there you go. All right, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, so somebody's asking about the meaning of verbiage in the chat. Verbiage is a word, believe it or not. In U.S. English, it is defined as the way in which something is expressed, wording, or diction. All right. So listen, I know you guys over there overseas, Sam, you're from Italy. I get it. Us in America, in the United States, we're different. I get it. But it is a word, and I used it correctly. I just want to point that out. I did use it correctly. Anyways, oil is down on this news of a ceasefire. The NASDAQ is green. The problem again is whether this is actually what's going on. You know, a lot of people think the president is using this to control the price of oil, and we've even gotten a lot of, claims of that by Iran leaders themselves. We did get news earlier that the U.S. is set to have around 60,000 troops in the Middle East after the latest deployment per the Financial Times. And, yeah, there's a specific 15-point ceasefire. One of those points in the ceasefire is that they would have to completely stop their enrichment program. And I just don't think they're going to do that. You know, Iran and the U.S. met with each other multiple times prior to this conflict starting in March. And, you know, one of the big disagreements from both sides is the U.S. basically said, hey, you have to stop enriching. Iran basically said, hey, we're going to enrich. And both sides never really came to an agreement there. And so while I hope this big ceasefire is true, I hope it happens, obviously. I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical. And yeah, we also have other news today. Let me see. We have Hormuz did get partially open. So a first ship did get through the Strait of Hormuz. If we look at the NASDAQ is green. We're up to 24,475. Make up all the words you all like. Common usage equals a valid word. Yeah, thank you, sir. Tell that to those that use, what is my most hated word? Irregardless. All right, irregardless. I dislike the word, but people use it, and so I guess it's a word. But yeah, so here's 10 points of what Iran must do. They haven't published the full 15-point list, but some news sources have pieced it together from Pakistani officials, Egyptian mediators, news overseas, and the New York Times. It says what Iran must do. Number one is dismantle all existing nuclear capabilities, halt all your enrichment permanently, commit to never pursuing nuclear weapons, hand over already enriched uranium, allow full IAEA monitoring and inspections, reopen the Strait of Hormuz to unrestricted international shipping, end funding and arms supplies to proxy groups, curb missile production, limit future missile use, and there's also going to be restrictions on ballistic missile program there. Now, look, I hope they accept this deal. But even if they do accept it, there's questions about whether they're going to follow through with that acceptance. This seems optimistic to me, but markets are treating it like it's valid, and I hope it is. I hope it is. We'll see. Markets have really been sideways for the last, what is this? Let's see. Here's a daily chart. Markets have been sideways in the NASDAQ a lot of this last few days when all this stuff's going on. You can see we had this big pop from the president saying we had Iran talks going on. Iran denied those talks, but apparently there were talks going on between intermediaries with countries. And so apparently some stuff was happening, but yeah, that is essentially what we have going on here. I'm going to put my music back on. Let me put it back on here. Can y'all hear this music? Hold on. Let me lower it a little bit. Hold on. I know that is probably a little loud now. Let me turn it down some. There we go. Yeah, they will surely accept. Yeah, I just don't think they're going to. He wants the straight open. Yeah, and oil prices need the straight open. Oil, I think Brent crude right now is under $100 a barrel. So I think Brent is under $100 a barrel. But yeah, so a lot of stuff happened. NASDAQ futures are up, decently up. Oil futures are down. The VIX, which measures volatility, chat, the VIX is all the way down to 25, 26s. So it's under $26. It's been elevated since this conflict started, but you can see the VIX is down. There's no way they're going to agree to that. I agree to your comment about them not agreeing. I don't think they will either. But maybe it'll bring constructive talks in, is what the hope is, I think. Maybe they'll bring some constructive talks in. Okay, yeah, if you could hear the music, let me know if the music is good. Yeah, gold has bounced back. Gold has been on a few days of, turmoil after dropping, starting really about March 10th. Gold fell from March 10th all the way when it was at $5,200 an ounce, all the way back down to $4,100 an ounce. It has since rebounded back up, and it's back up to almost $4,600 an ounce. Now, you got to think about gold in the context of everything going on. We've had a lot of higher interest rate sentiment. We talked about this yesterday. With higher interest rate sentiment, bond yields are going to go up. So bonds are going to be paying more with higher interest rate sentiment because yields go up as interest rate sentiment goes up. So if it's looking like we're going to have higher interest rates this year, yields are going to increase, which means bonds are paying out more. And what does that mean for gold? That means less people are going to be buying it because less people buy gold because they're getting paid more from bonds, guaranteed returns in bonds. Gold's up a lot. And so that mixed with a lot of other stuff really has made gold fall all the way down. Again, it hit 4,100s over the weekend. It's back up to 46 though. Let's see if it continues back higher here. But yeah. I think I might have Nightbot posting these links too much. Let me it's every 12 minutes. I guess that's not that bad. Every 12 minutes I think it's reasonable, huh? Yeah, and again, inflation fears are here. The war in Iran has caused a lot of inflation worries. Essentially, higher oil prices worldwide is going to bring higher inflation, especially headline inflation. The really interesting reports that we're going to get here, I checked the economic calendar. All right. I think the most interesting week for economic data coming out, the most interesting week to me is going to be, it's not next week. Next week we have non-farm payrolls, unemployment on Friday. We have the ADP monthly jobs report on Wednesday. So next week is all about jobs, really. Like next week's economic reports are going to be all about jobs. The week after that, we get CPI inflation for March, and we get PCE inflation. That's going to be the most interesting week for economic data. It's going to be the first time we're really getting a reasonable look at where inflation's at for the month of March since this conflict started, because the previous inflation data we got was for the previous month in February, and even though it showed some, I think, didn't it show some elevation? What was the last inflation report for CPI? I have to go back and check, but everybody is basically curious to see what March is going to look like in inflation, because that's when this conflict started. That's when oil prices started rising, and that's essentially what people are nervous about. But yeah, Brent crude apparently fell. It's at, let me see where I'm showing Brent is. I'm showing, again, I'm showing WTI crude sitting at low or mid 86s right now. Brent crude, I'm showing $93 a barrel. Is that right? What do you guys show for Brent crude right now? Okay, wait, maybe it's $97 a barrel. I'm showing 97.90s a barrel for Brent, but let's check Market Watch. 93, it opened up at 93s. That might be where it opened, at 93s. But yeah, Brent under $100 a barrel. WTI under $90 a barrel. 94.3, Nathan. Okay, I appreciate it. What's up, Freddie? Yeah, we got other news out today as well here. I'm trying to cover all. I got too many things on my screen here. But yeah, the partial Hormuz open is a big deal. Like the fact that it's only non-hostile vessels, but the fact that some ships are getting through starts to ease the supply squeeze that we've been seeing here. And so the Strait of Hormuz being even partially open is a great sign. That's why oil's down. That's why the Nasdaq's higher. And again, you can also see some other stocks like Nvidia here. Nvidia's up to 178. So Nvidia had fallen all the way down to 169 on Monday morning. And then the news about the Iran talks happened and everything popped up. Every major stock popped up. But yeah, yesterday the Dow was down. We had stagflation worries. We had unit labor costs at 4.4% versus 2.8% expected. Productivity was lower and unit labor costs were higher yesterday at 8:30, which shows stagflation worries for sure. Energy was the only S&P sector in the green for March. Apollo's $15 billion private credit fund got hit with an 11.2% redemption request, more than double its 5% cap. Paid out only 45 cents on the dollar. So another private credit issue falling here. Yeah, so they're charging vessels to pass at this point in time, Steve. That's some news that we got earlier. Is there free coffee in this room? No, you got to pay for that here. $20. Yeah, so just to put this into perspective, right? Private credit is what it sounds like. It's private credit. It's private loans. After 2008, regulators forced banks to stop making risky loans, and private credit stepped up to fill that gap of what the banks can no longer do. They raise money from investors and lend it to mid-sized companies that can't access public bond markets. It's kind of shadow banking, but over the last decade, it grew to $2 trillion. The biggest names are like Apollo, like we just mentioned, Blackstone, KKR, Blue Owl, BlackRock, and more. And so they're basically saying, you give us your money, we'll lend it to companies at 8 to 12% yields. You earn way more than you get in bonds or savings account, but your money's locked up in illiquid loans, and so you can't sell them easily. But to attract retail and wealthy individual investors, they created semi-liquid vehicles called BDCs, business development companies, which said you could do quarterly redemptions and supposedly get your money back every quarter. But now that promise is breaking. And so that's why, well, let me see, what is Blue Owl? Or no, what is Blackstone symbol here? There it is, BX. No, that's not it. Yeah, it is, big BX. Right, huh? Blackstone. Yeah. Was Blue Owl? I think Blue Owl has a stock here as well. Does it? What are the two? Yeah, it's like the Jenga scene from The Big Short. That's basically what this is. Anyways. Yeah, Apollo is APO. That's what I'm trying to pull up. Yeah, and a lot of these have just been struggling. But going back to this. AI is killing borrowers is what this is. Right? So the largest private credit managers, Blackstone, BlackRock, Morgan Stanley, Cliffwater, Apollo, have collectively received more than $10 billion in redemptions and requests for Q1 2026. These firms have agreed to honor only about 70% of those requests. That's making people really nervous. Blue Owl took the unprecedented step of permanently closing redemption gates on its $1.6 billion OBDC2 fund after a 200% surge in withdrawal requests. The failed merger attempt in late last year made it worse. They tried to merge the private fund into a larger public vehicles, but investors didn't really want it. And you can see, like, here's Apollo down. Morgan Stanley's North Haven Private Income Fund got hit with almost 11% redemption requests. And yeah, a lot of these are struggling right now. A lot of them are down. Yeah, thank you, Pawn. I like the banner on the bottom of the screen. Oh, well, thank you, sir. You know, we pride ourselves on being really professional here, you know. Britt, you there? Where you at, Britt?
Oh, I'm here. Just listening.
So what do you think about this private credit thing? Oh, wait, here. There's an echo. I hear it. Do you have your headphones on?
No, I don't.
Put your headphones on. That's why. Because what happens is, whenever I come out the speaker, the mic picks it up, and then there's an echo.
Give me just a second. I gotta grab them.
Yeah, all good. Yeah, the 15 points, I don't think they're going to agree to this at all. I just don't think they're going to agree to it. You know, again, 15 points, just to look at it here. 10 of them, we don't know the full 15, but 10 of them: dismantle all nuclear capabilities, halt enrichment, commit to never pursuing nuclear, hand over enriched uranium, allow IAEA monitoring, reopen the strait, unrestricted international shipping, end funding to sketchy groups, basically, curb production of missiles, limit future production, restrictions on their program. I just don't think they're going to agree to this. And even if they do, I don't know if I would trust that anyway. You know?
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, Jono? Circle was big down yesterday, Jono. Yeah, Circle. Was it Circle the one that was down big yesterday? Yeah, it was Circle. Yeah, all the stuff going on in crypto caused Circle to plummet yesterday. Dropped from 125 to 105. Yeah, and we can keep looking at the news that's coming out, but, you know, it's been sketchy. It's been sketchy. Yeah, so I'm seeing that Iran is tightening controls over Hormuz shipping. They're demanding detailed crew, cargo, voyage information from ships seeking safe passage through the strait, with approvals handled by the IRGC. They said the process is inconsistent and sometimes includes fees, mainly for high-value vessels like oil and gas tankers. So yeah, they're charging ships to pass. This signals Tehran's growing grip on the key trade route. Traffic remains limited, mostly involving Iranian or China-linked ships hugging the Iran coast. At the same time, though, Iran is saying the Strait of Hormuz is open. And I'm going to put open in air quotes here because, you know, like everybody knows, like, yeah, it's technically open. But it's nobody's really getting through that. Not any US based oil. So that's kind of where we're at now. Why do y'all think they won't accept? They would even profit from it. And I believe that. I'm going by their verbiage that they had before this conflict started, as well as the verbiage we've seen from them over the last week. What I'm going by. And yeah. Yeah, Iran says it's, quote, closely monitoring U.S. military movement, warning Washington not to test its resolve. Parliamentary speaker signaled Tehran is not ready for negotiations. Pentagon is preparing to deploy 3,000 troops from the 82nd Airborne Division in the Middle East. There's no final decision on ground deployment yet. And understand what's going to happen to markets if we do get boots on the ground there. Oil is going to spike. Oil's going to spike. Nasdaq's probably not going to like the news. Because really what the market's reeling from right now is the potential ceasefire. Here's oil during the ceasefire announcement. Get the comment out of the way. Yeah, so here is oil. Here's when the ceasefire news was announced. And here's where we are now. So we are testing the bottom of that range here, and it's looking optimistic. But at the very least, we did have confirmation. And I think one of the things that markets are digesting here is that at the very least, we did have confirmation that there are, even if they're indirect talks going on between the U.S. and Iran, that those are happening. Right? They're going to deny it, and I get it. Both sides are probably exaggerating and embellishing what's going on. As I've said many times over the last few days, this is pretty standard in terms of conflicts like this. This is kind of what happens. Both sides will deny it until the breaking point. And so that's what we're seeing right now with this stuff going on. Yeah, so Pakistan says it has received the president's 15-point peace plan and that they shared it with Iran per Al Jazeera. All right, so Pakistan did say they received it and they shared it with Iran. Now we'll see what happens. We did have NBA 30-year mortgage rate applications show up at negative 10.5% today. So mortgage applications, let's see what the actual NBA 30-year mortgage rate showed up as. Let's do a poll here today as well, guys. Yeah, join our Discord. Sam posted a good market news snapshot in the Discord. There's the Discord right there. Join it. Let me know if that link works. But join our Discord. I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate it. Sounds like they are close to a ceasefire. I hope the ceasefire gets announced. I don't think it's a guarantee, but I'm optimistic they get it at the very least a ceasefire while they try to work out a deal. Let me see if I can find. Okay, yeah, so NBA 30-year mortgage rates showed up at 6.43%. I'll have to see what they showed up as last time. 6.43. You think an official ceasefire will skyrocket the markets? If we're talking S&P, NASDAQ, Dow, yes. I don't know about skyrocket. I think markets are going to go up. I think markets are already up from it, though, and so I think markets are already partially digesting that news, and they've already gotten baked into the price action from yesterday. This news came out about the ceasefire yesterday. Here's the S&P 500. This news came out here yesterday, right around the closing bell, and markets are holding most of these gains from it. We got up to prior to this we were at about 6490 or so, 6500s. After this we're at 6670. So the S&P, on the NASDAQ we are at 24.5. So we were at about 23.8 prior to this. We're now at 24.5, so the NASDAQ is digesting it optimistically. Is there an emergency announcement by the president? What time is that? Is that 7:20 Eastern Standard Time? That's PM. Yeah. Insurance premium must be extremely elevated still. Yeah, I mean, they're going to be. 100% they are. And that's really one of the big negative things from this is the insurance. That's what's stopping real traffic. No insurance company wants to insure passage right now. And there's a lot of oil, and that's big money going through there, and so it's creating, issues, of course. I think ceasefire will announce even later. It may not be true because I think no decline. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to agree to it. Maybe they'll agree to the ceasefire, but I don't think they're going to agree to maybe we'll get a ceasefire and they'll try to work out something better. Iran on potential U.S. ground invasion. I'm seeing we are closely monitoring all U.S. movement in the region, especially troop deployment. What the generals have broke, the soldiers can't fix. Instead, they will fall victim to Israel's delusions. Do not test our resolve to defend our land. End quote. Iran. JP Morgan's desk says we are closing our tactically bearish call and moving to neutral. The thinking here is that the escalation is what will drive markets lower from here. Barring escalation, we expect markets to chop sideways. And that is the JP Morgan desk. Let's do a poll. I don't think I've done a poll today. With all the ceasefire news, we're gonna ask, with all the ceasefire news, are you bullish or bearish on today's market? That's going to be the poll. All the ceasefire news, are you bullish or bearish? Let me know in the chat right now. Or you can also vote on the poll. The poll is now live here as well. What's up, Chef? This is when they're going to rug pull retail. What do you think that looks like? You think they're going to rug pull us? Would that look like potential ceasefire completely gets rejected, markets crater back down, oil spikes, stays elevated for the indefinite future, and you know, the private credit issues continue to weigh on things. Again, just to go back to the you might hear these buzzwords about private credit. And again, understand that this is a partial, outcome of 2008. There was more bank regulations that happened after 2008, and so private credit funds stepped in to fill that gap. They raise money from investors and lend it directly to mid, small size companies that can't access public bond markets. So it's kind of shadow banking. It's grown into $2 trillion industry. Apollo, Blackstone, Blue Owl, BlackRock. They said, give us your money, we'll lend it to companies at an 8 to 12% yield, which is a very good yield. Bonds are paying what, 4.3% right now, 4.4%. But your money's locked up in illiquid loads. You can't sell them like stocks. They're not as liquid. But they developed these other assets called BDCs, business development companies, that promise quarterly redemption windows. So they found ways around it. But the largest managers now have collectively received more than 10 billion in redemption requests during the first half of this year. Blackstone saw 3.8 in withdrawals requests, 8% of its assets almost. BlackRock restricted withdrawals from its 26 billion HBS corporate lending fund. Morgan Stanley did as well. So there's exposure to this. The reason this is happening right now is AI is killing the borrowers, they say. They say these private credit funds lent heavily to mid-sized software companies. And AI is eating software to a certain extent. SaaS, which is software as a service. SaaS is abbreviated for software as a service. But now with AI, the big question is, why pay $50,000 a year or more for customer service software when an AI agent can do it for $5,000? Right? And so software companies as a whole have been correcting a lot over the past few months and longer, really. And that's what's driving the fear in all of this. And that's what's directly impacting private credit. And remember, it's not just a rate cycle issue. It's other stuff here as well. Now remember, a lot of these loans were mostly, floating rate. When rates go up, the companies pay more interest. That was great for the funds when rates first rose, which is higher yields. But now rates have stayed high for too long. The borrowers are getting crushed by interest payments. Unit labor costs just came in yesterday at 4.4%. Productivity was down and unit labor costs were higher. And so there's problems. Goldman Sachs predicts the retail private credit sector could shed between 45 and 70 billion in assets over the next 2 years. We saw a lot of growth. Retail credit fund asset ballooned from 34 billion at the end of 2021 and went from 34 billion to 222 billion by the end of last year. So they made a lot of money over the past few years, but that's starting to unwind. It's affecting everything here. Yeah, I'm seeing people mostly still talking about boots on the ground. Will we put boots on the ground by the end of this month? Let me know. Will we have boots on the ground by the end of this month? I hope not. We'll see. Yeah, so apparently right now, 59% of Americans say the war has gone too far. A new AP NORC poll shows 59% of Americans believe U.S. military action against Iran has gone too far, raising political risk. Public concern is also shifting to the economy. 45% worry about affording gas, up sharply from earlier polling. And gas is definitely more expensive right now. It went from like $2 a gallon, $2.15, $2.20 or whatever it was. It's now up to $3 or $4 to, 93 octanes higher. It's almost 5 or more. So gas has gone up for sure since this conflict started. Yeah, let's take a look at silver here. Silver is starting to rebound like gold, but silver has had a crazy year. Silver, if we look at this here, let me drag this in. Focus. But silver has gone from opening the year at $41, went as high as $120, and now it's faded all the way back to $73.50. So all right, I gotta pull up Discord on the other end. Yeah, catch it back up in the chat. I don't know, man. Yeah, so again, VCX fund soars 1,000% in 5 days. SpaceX IPO hype nears fever pitch. Shares in the fund rise innovation fund up 64.2%, climbed to over $340 a share in earlier Wednesday, marking about a 991, almost 1,000% jump from its opening price of $31.25 5 days ago. Let's take a look at it. What is this, VCX? Yeah, look at this graph here. That is a crazy gain. Crazy gain. Look at this graph. It IPO'd at what? Thursday last week on the 19th. It IPO'd at $31 a share. It's now at $350 a share. So we've had some crazy movements here. And again, this is Fundrise Innovation Fund. It's a closed-end fund has continued to surge as more retail investors chase pre-IPO offering exposure to heavyweight private credit or private companies on Wall Street. I mean, with headlines from Elon SpaceX likely adding more fuel. Yeah. Yeah, it's an insane run up here. Yeah, so the Big Short legend, Steve Eisman. Which one's Steve Eisman? Steve Eisman. Which one's Steve Eisman? Is that Steve Carell? Trying to think of which character in The Big Short. Oh. Yeah, Steve Carell played Steve Eisman in The Big Short. So he made a lot of money. But yeah, he says that a credit cycle is emerging and SoFi might be sitting at the center of it. SoFi. I hate to say this, but I'm in SoFi right now. I've been in it. There's something popping up on news here. Let me see. Oh, we got a big drop here in the NASDAQ. Oil rising on this news. If oil's rising. Yeah, oil's jumping. NASDAQ's falling. Let me check breaking news here. U.S. War Ministry says will quadruple production of THAAD missile guidance systems. Framework agreement with Honeywell Company to bolster munitions stockpile, according to them. Yeah, oil's starting to fade back down. So we popped up for some reason. We hit the volume weighted average price on oil, and now we're fading back down to 87.50s for WTI crude. I don't see any breaking news. Let me see. Hold on. Spot silver. Yeah, this is the only thing that I can think of. The War Ministry saying we're going to quadruple production of THAAD systems. I don't see any other breaking news here. And if you guys see it, let me know. I just don't see anything else causing this. This is not a huge pop. We got some volume, but it's not the biggest move we've ever seen. So we'll see if it continues. But yeah, that's what we got going on. This is TOS. This is TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim. Still a good time to buy a house. I necessarily think so. And this is coming from somebody that bought a rental property last year, right? But I think the real estate market as a whole, interest rates have been high for years and years now. And so I think the real estate market is suffering from that. But I think long-term prices are still going to go up, of course. And I think that's one of the big benefits. We might see corrections. It's kind of like the S&P 500, NASDAQ, Dow, equities, stock market in general. Most of the time, we're going to move up. Most of the time, we're going to go up. And if you hold it long-term, you know, there's a very famous saying in markets that says, when in doubt, zoom out. And you can see this, even if we're in a crash or correction, the people who lose the most are people that get emotional and sell whatever they have, right? And sometimes it's inescapable. Sometimes they have to do it because they're getting squeezed so hard. But generally, long-term, you know, the S&P is going up long-term. House prices are going to go up over time. Why? Because inflation is going to increase over time as well, right? So, you know, that's always going to be the case. Inflation rises, rent goes up, house prices go up. You know, that's how it goes. Yeah, some people are telling me to look at Tesla. We're at 390s right now. Tesla's up to 390s, but Tesla's had a tough time really too over the past. You know, Tesla was at $500 a share in December. It's now at 390 here, so Tesla has faded a lot over the last few months. Yeah, when in doubt, zoom out.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's dropping over the last few months?
Tesla, their last earnings report, Tesla basically came out saying that they were pivoting away from car production. And Tesla's getting really deep into robotics, right? So they're getting really deep into AI. They have their own AI systems. They're producing what's called Optimus robots. And some of their cars are also using AI. You know, they're called robotaxis. Some of their newer versions of cars they're producing are called robotaxis, so like self-driving cars that don't have a driver. But one of the things that Elon said is that they are pivoting, that they're going to focus less on car production and more on that future, robotics, AI. And you know, there's good and bad things about that. You know, there's more unknown. It's bigger risk, bigger reward. You know, like they could certainly make more money. Tesla's margins have not really been great. If you look at their EPS, you know, Tesla's EPS is not the highest. You know, so Tesla's EPS is not the highest. If we look at Tesla's EPS graph, like let me put this up. Right? Like earnings per share is a company's margins, right? So EPS is margins for the specific company. Here's Tesla's EPS. Right, so Tesla, 24 cents a share, you know, they have a lot of shares, don't get me wrong, but they haven't been, like, the margins are a little bit worse versus, like, a straight up tech company, which Tesla is a tech company, don't get me wrong, but they're producing physical things, that's more expensive, versus, like, Google or Amazon or so forth and so on, right? So it's a bigger risk, but it also potentially has a bigger future. And if you really believe in the AI, you know, growth cycle, and I think AI is going to grow. I think it's very clear it's going to grow. AI, you know, I've said this once, I'll say it again. 4 years ago, Will Smith eating spaghetti AI, everybody knew it was AI. Everybody's like, hey, that's obviously AI. It's not even right. His arms are freaking flopping around, and it doesn't even look, it looks crazy. He looked like a, you know, he looked crazy. Now Will Smith eating spaghetti, it's hard to distinguish the difference if it's whether AI or real. And so AI has grown that way. If we extrapolate that trend over the next 20 years, AI is going to get really freaking good. Really freaking good. It's almost scary to the point, you know, where it's going to get really, really good. A lot of people are worried about jobs. And a lot of people would argue we're already seeing those negative effects on jobs now. We've heard Jerome Powell talk about it. He is downplaying it a little bit recently, but yeah, it's gonna affect jobs. You know, we see it in the software, you know, corrections now. Software is correcting big right now. Why? Because you don't need to hire a software as a service company. You don't have to hire a, you know, in-house developer. AI can create a lot of these things now much more efficiently. And that is taking business away from a lot of these software businesses.
I might be wrong, but I think it would be smart to focus. I mean, for people to focus in general on developing the skilled trade sector over the next 5 to 10 years, because I think that's where most of the jobs are going to end up eventually.
Oh, for sure, right? There's always going to be jobs, but they're going to be more. They're going to be higher up jobs, so to speak. Like they're going to be more managing AI versus self-coding. You know. But trades are definitely going to be more resilient, especially short term. Long term, there's still chances that trades get replaced by AI as well. You know, I don't put it past us eventually to have AI, have machine welders that, you know, machines that weld things. You're always going to need people though, because it's still going to be difficult. You know, there's just too much complexity there in terms of getting people when they're welding it underwater, especially. Like, there's a lot of areas that are going to be resilient to AI and trade for sure. So, yeah, I agree with that. Become a plumber, somebody says.
Yeah.
This is, or no, I'm responding. People are like, who is that? That is my that is my inner monologue speaking right now. I don't know how you guys can hear it. You know, I don't know who that is, dude. Who's on my stream right now? No, I'm just joking. That's my friend Britt. Everybody say hey to Britt. Britt's in the background. He's learning.
Everybody.
Yeah. I have to get Pawn on here too. I think it'd be cool to have Pawn and you know, have a couple people on the stream.
Someone said, "God, is that you?"
Hopefully it's him and not the other guy. You know. Is he the one that hurt your knee in jiu-jitsu? No, dude. Dude, I would beat Britt up in jiu-jitsu. If Britt and I jiu-jitsu, you know, trained, Britt's getting choked out. I'm sorry, Britt.
Don't hurt me, John.
You know, don't mess up on the stream, dude, or, you know.
You're going to choke me out if I mess up on the stream?
That's right, dude. I'll choke you out from here, you know. Yeah, I was talking to Fibby about it. Fibby might be coming on stream soon. As well. I'll have to get with him. Alright, guys. So, yeah, NASDAQ slowing down a little bit. Not a single ship is passing the strait right now. But yeah, right now. Fars News said this quote. They said, ending the war is only possible by achieving Iran's strategic goals, according to Fars News. So we're seeing that news drop. Let's see what else. French finance minister reaffirms that the energy market situation in France is not as serious as in some other European countries. Yeah, so I'm looking at something that Money Mitch posted. Good friend of mine. He said the Goldman Sachs trading desk says, quote, in percentage terms, U.S. equities saw the largest one-day degrossing since September of 25, driven by long sales outpacing short covers 2.5 to 1. Macro products, which is indexes and ETFs, single stocks made up 60%. So macro products and single stocks made up 60%, 40% of the total money risks unwinding. They posted this chart right here. Interesting chart. And, yeah. U.S. is set to deploy thousands more troops in the Middle East. Yeah, I mean, we're hearing news that ships are passing. They're supposed to be what did they describe these ships as? We saw it earlier, but they're supposed to be... Let me go back into this. The ships that are passing are supposed to be... Sorry, I'm trying to read this as fast as I can. Iran's military is still mocking the talks. Yep. Best dude. They're supposed to be non-aggressive ships. I can't think of the word. I don't know. I didn't sleep well last night. Maybe I'm a little bit slower today. They're supposed to be
non-military.
Yeah, non-military, or not even that. But they're supposed to be non-aggression ships. So ships are passing, but not quite like ships are passing. I'm gonna do air quotes again. Yeah, the non-hostile ships, I think is what they described it. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word hostile. Non-hostile ships. Non-American ships, non-ally ships, non-Israel ships, right? Like, those are the ones that are passing through. Yeah. But even still, I genuinely doubt that it's at some big amount here, considering everything going on. Insurance is not going to want to cover that right now. So the insurance is not going to... look at the NASDAQ start to rebound. Let me see if we got any other news. All right, so the ECB apparently is supposed to hold deposit rate at 2% through 2026, 38 of 60 economists. ECB is going to hike deposit rate at least once in 2026, says 21 of the 60 economists. Love from New York City. Yeah, let's do a poll. Or let's not do a poll, but let's ask people. Where are you guys from today? Where are you guys watching the stream from right now? Somebody was like, hey, you asked this yesterday. I ask it every day here, guys. I like to see where everybody's from. Love from New York City. Sarge is the one that started off. Love from New York. Hey, thank you, Sarge. We appreciate it. Pull this up a little bit so we can actually see. Kentucky. Those ships are passing. North Idaho, Texas, Argentina, still Germany, Missouri, Sweden. At least you're still Germany there, Steve, because some people give me a different thing every day. North Carolina, Europe, New York City, Virginia, and Florida. U.S. ships can identify as non-hostile. Chicago, Seoul, good morning. Hey, what's up, R? Maine, Michigan, New Hampshire. I really like Michigan a lot. Vietnam, hey, what's up? Deep in the heart of Texas.
I heard that. Germany. I was in Germany in August.
Oh, yeah. You were in Munich, right?
Yeah, I went to Munich, and then I went through Austria and into Switzerland.
Yeah, you said Germany was really cool there, huh?
Oh, it was awesome. I love Munich. It's probably one of the most fun places I've ever been.
Yeah, Sweden looks great. You went to Sweden, right? Or was it Switzerland?
No, I went to Switzerland and Austria, like up into like the Bavarian region of Austria, and then to Hallstatt and a few other places in Sweden. It was, I mean, beautiful, idyllic. It almost looked like a fairy tale. Seriously.
No, I saw the pictures, man. Honestly, I want to go. I want to go. It looks cool. Looks very.
You should. You would love it.
Yeah. Hey, all right. Good to see you guys. Go Tigers. I see somebody say go Tigers. Yes, sir. Go Tigers. Markets are starting to rebound back up. We're at 24,500s here, 24.5s. Yeah, Switzerland. I'm jealous of anybody that gets to live there. I really am. Yeah, just the pictures of Switzerland are cool. And we will see what happens here today. I'm seeing SLB is going to serve as modular design partner with NVIDIA DSX AI factories. SLB and NVIDIA will develop an AI factory for energy and generative AI models. I don't see any other breaking news right now. Keep scrolling here. Gold now lower for 10 days straight. Longest losing record. Is it? Gold's not down today. Gold's up a lot today. Here's where the day started. Here. Gold. Wednesday started here. Previous closing price is way down here. So where it closed... How is futures calculating this? I guess this is from evening close. Okay. I guess here. It's 5 p.m. Yeah, every day futures close for an hour. That's when they're judging it by, when it closes for an hour. It reopens up in the other session. But yeah, they're green. Gold hit 4,600s. It has had a really tough time, but it's starting to bounce back. Is it time to buy gold? Let me look at our poll here. We did a poll earlier, bull or bear. We said, with all the ceasefire news, are you bullish or bearish on today's market? 59% say they're bullish. 41% said they're bearish. Friend of mine that lives in Vermont, but from Switzerland, tells me the cost of living is high there. Were things expensive when you went there, Britt?
Yeah, very expensive. So in Germany and Austria, we were spending euros, and then we got to Switzerland and we were using Swiss francs, and it was probably 20% higher than in Germany and in Austria. It was really expensive. Like the cheapest hotel rooms that we could find were $400 or $500 a night, so we ended up staying in an Airbnb because of that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Airbnbs are expensive. You know, like you stay somewhere. Like, I remember we stayed at an Airbnb for like 4 days. It was like $1,000.
It was like I think we ended up spending like $200 a night each for the Airbnb, but it was still cheaper than than the cheapest hotels by far.
Right, for sure. I like hotels. I'm not, but if an Airbnb and hotel costs the same, I'm gonna go.
I would too. It gives you a lot more options in terms of like if you want to cook your own food and things like that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, ceasefires. I see some people asking, what does a ceasefire mean? Ceasefire basically, as the name suggests, means you cease firing on the other one. And so, yeah. All right. So, IAEA reports that some stuff happened to the Iranian nuclear sites that caused some damage, but it wasn't serious, according to Al Jazeera. We also see that Russia may reinstate temporary ban on gasoline exports, according to IFX. Big reversals coming. The demands from Iran are hilarious. No peace is coming. Yeah, again, we're going to go through this. I've gone through it a couple different times, but we've been streaming now for about an hour here. So this peace deal needs, includes a lot of different things. Dismantling their capabilities, halting uranium, never commit to pursuing weapons with that stuff, hand over the enrichment, allow full IAEA monitoring, reopen the strait to unrestricted international shipping, end funding sketchy groups, curb missile production, and more. I just don't think they're going to go with this. And so the question is, what happens and what are we here for over the next few days? NASDAQ is actually treating this well. Even if they don't go for the 15-point thing, maybe we'll still get a ceasefire where they try to work it out. I think that's the most optimistic way to look at it. I don't think they're going to go for this. If they do, I wouldn't necessarily trust that they're going to follow through either way. But the NASDAQ is rising here, guys. NASDAQ up to 24,530s right now. 24,530s. So people need to wake up and stop paying crazy amounts for sleeping rooms. Are you talking about houses? AMD broke. Yeah, AMD up to 211 too. Nvidia's back up too. Nvidia was under 170s for a little while. It's back up to almost 1, which is a good sign despite everything. Yeah, I saw the maritime traffic site yesterday, actually. Pull it up. On the streets. What's the ads on the site? Ceasefire means wait. Yeah, even non-hostiles. I don't think almost any ships are going to be getting through right now anyway. The reason we said a ship got through is because there were a couple that were announced getting through recently. Again, Iran describes them as they're letting non-hostile ships pass. But we'll see what happens. Barclays. Or go ahead.
I was just say I might be wrong, but I think the situation is too volatile even for a temporary ceasefire right now. I don't think we'll see boots on the ground by the end of the month. Maybe not even long term, but I think it's going to take a while before we work out any kind of even temporary ceasefire.
Right, 100%. And I think as time goes on, the longer the strait is closed, the more long-term damage to oil prices, more increases in oil prices we're going to get long-term, because it takes a while anyway, and it's going to take a while to get everything back and running. And so the longer this drags on, the higher inflation we get, the less odds of rate cuts. If we take a look at yields today, we can look at 2-year yields first. But remember, guys, so yields and interest rates follow each other. Basically, yields are just how much bonds are paying out, right? They're kind of down on the day here if we look at it. So some stabilization probably on the ceasefire news, but even these have been pretty flat. Well, it's closed for U.S. and allies, is what it is, Snake. But yeah, here's yields. Yields have been basically flat, but they're at 3.85% for 2-year yields. 10-year yields currently at 4.31%. And yields are at 10-year yields are actually falling down a little bit more today. They're down some here short term. So initially lower interest rate sentiment getting baked in. If we take a look at rate cut odds, where this is coming from. Hear noise on our Discord. Where it's coming from. Buy every dip. Yeah, most people are bullish today. Most people are bullish in markets right now. We'll see if it holds, but most people are interested in buying up things. We'll see if we can trade some today, but Monday high is a realistic target if we're talking about the NASDAQ. Monday high. Monday was the 23rd. Talk about this level here. 24,760s on the NASDAQ. I mean, it's a reasonable target if you think we're going to get de-escalation. Now, there's a lot of there's a lot of variety in what can happen. So I think with everything going on, it's just more volatile. There's a lot of variability about what can happen. Buy every dip is the worst approach. If no issues reported, continue to 26,300. Yeah, but that's a big if, my friend. That's a big if. Every other day we've been getting like volatile swings in the price of oil, as well as in the NASDAQ, S&P, Dow, and more gold, silver, from some other big announcement happening here. And so tweets have been going on. The president tweeted, Monday morning that ripped up markets. All right, so we're seeing U.S. Agricultural Secretary Rowland speaking right now. He said, not seeing much disruption for the other 20% of farmers. 80% of farmers are already purchased their fertilizer. Not seeing much disruption for the other 20%. And the reason this is relevant is, oil affects fertilizer as well. We did get news earlier that we talked about already that Iran's tightening controls over the strait and is now demanding detailed crew, cargo, and voyage information from ships seeking safe passage. Here's the NASDAQ. NASDAQ up to 24,520s. You're trading. Most ships aren't passing because they can't get insurance currently. Yeah, no, 100%. Insurance is not going to want to cover that. It's too risky for them. It's just single-digit ships that somehow take a gamble on crushing the strait. No, for sure. And that's why I always describe it as the strait's still virtually closed. So, what do you think of Celsius? I think energy drinks. Like, bro, here's the problem. I went to go buy energy drinks yesterday. Here's my issue with energy drinks. You want me to be honest here? Like, all energy drinks are basically going for the shock factor. Like, I go to buy energy drinks, it's like liquid death. It's like Monster Mark of the Beast. It's like all these other crazy things. Like, dude, I don't want to drink those drinks. I don't want to drink a drink that says liquid death. Like, why would I ever want to drink that? Especially if it's just water.
Does it really even work for you?
Energy drinks do. To a certain extent. But that's my issue with energy drinks. But what I was about to say regarding Celsius is that Celsius, I like Celsius as an energy drink. I actually drink Celsius sometimes. The problem is that the energy drink sector is too trendy. Like one energy drink will be big, and then another one will take off, and then it'll be big for a little while, and then another one will take off, and then it'll be big for a while. And so I don't think it has the growth to really make people super optimistic in holding it. And you kind of see that swings in the price action here on Celsius chart. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And so for me, it's not an easy buy. It's not one of those companies I'm like, yeah, I believe in that long term. That company's going to grow. Instead, it's a company like, well, yeah, it might be big right now. You know, it's kind of like Bang energy drinks. You guys remember Bang energy drinks were huge for a long time. You know, I think they got sued for saying they had creatine in them because people were drinking them thinking they had creatine in them. But that's a different story. Point is, they were big for a long time. Now, you really don't hear about them anymore. And I think that trend is very consistent among energy drinks in general. That's my issue with Celsius. NASDAQ just dumped down here. So I think Iran responded. Is what I'm hearing people say. Let's see if we can figure it out. Iran rejects the ceasefire, won't negotiate with party that violated covenants, according to FARS, citing sources. So again, Iran just rejected the ceasefire. That is causing this drop in markets right now. Iran rejected the ceasefire. NASDAQ is now coming down. You're going to see the price of oil go up on this news. But yes, this is what's going on. I'll put the news up in chat right now. But that is what's going on right now. So Iran just rejected the ceasefire. That is why you see the NASDAQ tumble down over the last 2 minutes. And I'm sure the oil is rising here. Let's see where Brent crude is right now. Brent crude up to $88 a barrel. Not a huge move, though. It's still not like... It still hasn't filled the gap that it put in from the original ceasefire announcement. But the NASDAQ is still falling. NASDAQ is still dropping. We're at 24,430s. The S&P is falling as well. At 6650s now. The S&P down, NASDAQ down. Oil up after Iran is rejecting the ceasefire, according to FARS, citing sources. Won't negotiate with party that violated covenants, they say. Iran rejected the ceasefire.
Someone said gold dumped. What is it?
Gold's probably falling with the rest of the market right now. It didn't really dump. Gold's move is actually pretty muted, all things considered. But it is down over the last 5 to 7 minutes. It's probably just following the macro trend with the market here. So, and if you look at the trend of gold, it's been pretty similar. Like here's a gold chart over the last, what is this, a day chart? 5 day. So here's gold over the last 5 days. Here's the NASDAQ over the last 5 days. They look similar enough. And so gold is just, you know, one of the, okay, so let me explain why gold might not like this news coming out. Gold might not like this news coming out because it means more instability in the Middle East. It means more potential inflation because the longer the strait stays closed, the higher oil goes, the more inflation we get, and the less green light we get to cut interest rates. If inflation's a problem, it's kind of a roadblock to interest rate cuts. And if interest rate sentiment is higher, bonds are paying out more. And so less people buy gold, number one, because bonds are paying higher yields. You know, I'm sure if we look at 10-year treasury yields right now, or 2-year treasury yields, doesn't matter which one you get. 2 years a little bit more accurate with interest rate specifics, but you know, people look at both of them. Yeah, if we look at yields right now, yields on the ceasefire news, or on the rejection of the ceasefire, that is, yields are popping up. So you can see yields rise on this news because higher inflation potential now if this conflict stays on longer than expected. Ceasefire rejected, higher potential inflation, and thus we get yields pushing up a little bit. That means higher interest rate sentiment. And with higher interest rate sentiment, people have, you know, people have less need to buy gold. Gold doesn't pay out a yield, right? So they have less need to buy gold. Okay, dude, I keep getting Discord alerts, and I'm trying to figure out where so I can mute them. No, that's not it.
It's not coming from me, is it?
It might be you, but I don't think you have your background. It shouldn't be you. And yeah, I just heard it again. Okay, that's Pod. Okay, I see what it is. Okay, here, let me mute. Yeah, sorry, I had to mute the backup server. Anyways, going back to the gold thing. Another story of gold is that gold is liquid. And so if people are getting hurt in terms of markets, if people are losing money in markets, they might have to cover, you know, they might have to cover some of these margin calls that they're getting from their portfolio going down. And what do they what do they sell a lot of the time as their first move? Gold. It's liquid. They could sell it. You know, all of that stuff is causing gold to drop. That's why gold's negatively reacting. Although we did bounce right here. And so it's not the biggest move, even though Iran rejected the ceasefire. This is something that we've said earlier. You know, I didn't think they were going to accept it. You know, I didn't think they were going to accept it anyway. I didn't. I thought it was... Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really think so either. I think it might be kind of an issue of base, you know?
Right, for sure. I think I think it was pretty obvious that they weren't going to accept it. Like I said a bunch of times today, I think if they did, you couldn't trust that anyway. Yeah.
No. Well, based on past evidence.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so we're getting updates. Stocks and bonds sliding, oil and dollar rising as markets respond to the Fars news telegram suggesting Iran does not accept the ceasefire. But yeah, that's what big story is going on right now. Iran is not accepting the ceasefire, most likely, at least according to Fars. I'm also seeing, like, just recently that Iran is accusing journalists in Western media of spreading propaganda. Tehran is denying any direct or indirect talks with the U.S., according to local media. I mean, I think they're probably not telling the truth either. I think there's obviously indirect talks that have been going on. Why do we know this? Is because the president... Okay, look at the NASDAQ start to fall here. Hold on. Look at the NASDAQ start to fall more. It might be reacting to this news story I just published, or it might be some other reason. We just popped down. We just got retraced back up, but we're seeing some volatility going right now in the NASDAQ. We can look at the price of oil. NASDAQ is now technically red on the day. At least it was for a split second. Oil is popping up to almost $89 a barrel right now as I say this. So we are getting... Green says the UK economy is different. Yeah, Fars saying Iran does not accept ceasefire. Says US talks are illogical. Accused journalists of spreading propaganda, denying any direct or indirect talks. Right, exactly, Eric. That's what I was about to say. I think they were like I said, I think they're embellishing things as well. I don't think they're necessarily telling the truth either. Eric says, so wait, they rejected the peace agreement, but then said they weren't talking to us about the peace agreement. You can't have a way. Yeah, exactly. They contradicted themselves a little bit. There's obviously indirect talks that have been going on. There's definitely indirect talks. What happens today, guys? Does the market keep pushing down? Does the NASDAQ keep pushing down? Does oil continue to push higher here? We are going to trade today, but I'm not really trying to trade this volatility. I think it's too unpredictable. So. Yeah. Are you guys still bullish on the day? We did a poll earlier on the day. We did do a poll earlier on the day that said, with all the stuff going on, are you bullish or bearish? The Bulls won the poll 60% out of 600 votes. Brother, can you... No, I mean, I think both sides are lying, John. I've said this many times. Both sides are exaggerating, embellishing, or just straight up lying. And this is pretty consistent with historical conflicts as well. Both sides will deny until it actually gets done, right? This is very consistent. How many trades do you do daily? I usually trade a little bit closer to the opening bell. Great show, John. Always love my mornings with you, buddy. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Again, so Becca, Iran claims U.S. is increasing efforts to achieve a ceasefire. Iran says U.S. stepped up efforts to secure a ceasefire, according to Fars. This just dropped like 40 seconds ago. See, here's the problem. All right. And here's where there's inconsistency. Here's the problem. Iran says hey, we're not communicating with the West at all, you know, indirectly or directly. And then less than a minute later, we get news that say, hey, the U.S. is trying to do a ceasefire. What does that mean? That means you're communicating with them indirectly. And so, contradictions. Midterms are going to be scary. Yeah, Bitcoin below 70,000. I saw it earlier today. Bitcoin is currently sitting at 71.2s right now, which I think is a good spot for it relative to short-term swings that we've seen in it. But yeah, Bitcoin. I'd always talk here. Bitcoin at 71,260s right now. So Bitcoin over 71, I think is good. Market manipulation. Yeah, indirectly through Pakistan. Yep, that's how they're doing it. All right, guys. So much back and forth talk. I mean, they are saying that there's no back and forth talk. Oh. All right, guys. Let's see what we get today. Interesting day so far. More breaking news coming out about the U.S.-Iran talks. If we hold today, guys. Interesting price action, though, for sure. Derivatives. The Mike economic data report today. I don't think we have any economic data reports here, to be honest. Let me check. I don't think we do. I checked it earlier. We had mortgage rates show up. We got import-export data here, so... yeah, we got import-export data. We'll cover it at 8:30, but it's not really big data. The current account data for Q4. Crude oil inventories at 10:30 might be interesting, though. But yeah, the Nasdaq still reacting negatively to the rejection of the ceasefire news. Durable goods. I don't see durable goods coming out today. We had NBA 30-year mortgage rates. I see export price index, import price index, current account, and that's it at 8:30. So we don't have durable goods today, I don't think. Brit back up. Hey, thank you for the $2 donation. Yeah, no deal for them. No deal for them. We also have Moran speaking at the end of the day today. But here we go. Here's the data about to come out, guys. We'll see what the data looks like. Import-export data. I don't think this is going to move markets. But we'll see. It releases in about 30 seconds. I'll cover it regardless. Yeah, the VIX is going to be going up. Gold's going to be going down. The Nasdaq's going down. Oil's going to be up. What we're going to be seeing here. Price action today. All right, so here's the data about to come out. Yeah, so Iran says truce and talks are not viable in current conditions. U.S. stepped up efforts to secure a ceasefire, but truce and talks are not viable currently. All right, guys, so here's the data release. Right now, the data just came out. It showed up at export was actually higher than expected. Import was higher than expected as well. 1.3% for the import price index versus 0.6% expected. Export price index showed up at 1.5% versus 0.5% expected. We have about 1,100 people watching. I appreciate the support here, guys. The Nasdaq recent level to watch, this previous closing price right here, 24,403, is the level at which it closed yesterday. I think that's the biggest level to watch. That's the level I'm watching the most. And so, yeah, that's the level I'm watching here. Also, guys, check out Apex. You can use coupon code BT on Apex BT. You currently get 85% off accounts. Apex has done a lot of really nice stuff here. Recently, they changed up their whole funny... All right, wait. Look at the Nasdaq drop here. Before I go into my shameless plug, which is my first plug of the day, guys, by the way. Before I go into this, something's happening. Big drop on the Nasdaq. Current account was 190.75. I don't know if this is just talks not happening here. But yeah, current account should have been negative 190 versus negative 211 billion last time. Right, what's your favorite brisket location? Somebody wants me to ask you that.
My house.
Brit's a cook, by the way. Brit's cooking. Or Brit's a cook.
Yeah.
All right, NASDAQ still breaking down here, though, guys. 24, sorry, don't mean to cut you off, Brit, but the NASDAQ is falling right now. Instability, Middle East, making things drop. All right, guys, so yeah, markets are still dropping. Still fading here. Again, Iran said truce and talks are not viable in current conditions 3 minutes ago. That's when these drops started here. So we're continuing to push down. So now the NASDAQ, again, under this previous closing price, we are technically red on the day in the NASDAQ. Technically red on the day. Before we go into this, though, and I'm going to let Britt get back to his brisket comment, but check out Apex funded accounts. Apex recently changed. There's no end-of-day drawdown options, no payout denials, no MAE rule, no 5-1 risk-reward rule, built-in scaling, and 50% consistency once you're funded. Hey, you can get an account on Apex for less than $20 if you use my coupon code BT. The 25K account, if you want the end-of-day option, it's only $29.85. So very cheap. Most day traders lose money. We try to do everything for free here, so we have affiliates and sponsors and stuff like that. So we appreciate the love, guys. We really do. Use coupon code BT at checkout. It'll get you the max discount, and I'll put that link up if you want to help support the channel. The link is right here. I'll also pin it to the top of the chat. You can use BG or BT on Apex, but yeah, there's the link. Check it out. And it's at the top of the chat. Yeah, markets are flushing down now. Technically, we're technically red on the day. Now technically red. Do we return back to where we were previous? Okay, anyways. Yeah, PMI came in yesterday stronger than expected. We did see services and manufacturing stronger than expected. All right, anyways, Britt, you go back to your brisket conversation. I drink my coffee.
I really didn't have a whole lot to say. All I was going to say was, I mean, I live in South Louisiana, so, we have great food here, but we're not known for barbecue, obviously. And so I just started, experimenting and doing research of my own and had a bunch of practice briskets until I got to where I could smoke a really good brisket. I'm not going to say it's like the best ever or anything like that. I wouldn't even say that it competes with like, the middle of the road, like Texas brisket, but it's better than almost anything you're going to find here. And some stuff in Texas. I still have a ways to go. I'm not going to say I'm like perfect. I really need an offset smoker.
Yeah, and I love brisket too, bro. I live in Texas. Texas brisket's great. Still bad they closed Killen's. We had a good place called Killen's. Britt ate it. It was good.
It was really good. Dude, next time I come out there, I got a 3-bone beef rib in my freezer. I'll smoke it and bring it out there.
Bring it out here, dude. Bring it out here. I'm ready. NASDAQ trying to go back green on the day, up to 24,400. So the NASDAQ is trying to go back green. Let's see if we hold here today, guys. Let's see. Again, this is breaking news that we've gotten over the past 10 minutes, really, is that we essentially got a rejection of the ceasefire. Iran said, we saw some optimistic comments, I would say. I'm going to dare to say optimistic. Iran did say the U.S. stepped up efforts to secure the ceasefire. I think that's a good quote from Iran. All right, let me rephrase. Maybe good is not the word I should use. That is an optimistic quote. Now, they're still rejecting the ceasefire, but it means they might be willing to work with us, moving forward. It's better than we got the last few days where they're basically like, no. Yeah, NASDAQ back technically green on the day now. The S&P 500 showing similar movement here. Now back technically green on the day as well at 66.50s. Gold, we've had a lot of people mention gold. Gold down to 45.40s right now. The gold is dumping down here. Dumping down to see if it holds. Fars News reported this specifically here. They said Iran rejects ceasefire, won't negotiate with party that violated covenants, according to Fars citing sources. That's what's going on right now. And markets have not liked it, but we're starting to bounce back in most things here. So still pretty flat on the day here. Let's see if this volume weighted average price checks it. See this volume weighted average price. The VWAP's at about 24.4. Hey, dude. Love you, bud. Good day, dude. Got there, bro. What is that? Oh, this Mewtwo. You know, Mewtwo was my favorite Pokemon. Love you, dude. Have a good day, bud.
Nah, dude, Charizard.
Charizard's the easy answer.
I know
That's
that.
the easy answer, dude. Everybody likes Charizard, bro. You gotta switch it up.
I know, I was baiting you a little bit.
I fell for it. All right, guys. So yeah, Lebanese army. Bank of England's Greenspan's been speaking on financial conditions. He said they've tightened. We will have implications for the economy. I was not tempted to vote for a rate hike last week. Well, yeah, it's too early to vote for a hike. You got to see what inflation looks like. You don't think the most powerful Generation 1 Pokemon isn't the easy answer? I think most people are going Charizard. All right, guys. NASDAQ up to 24.4. So we are rebounding back up. I'm not really seeing any news. But we'll see what the opening bell looks like today. We have 45 minutes or so. Yeah, V-shaped bounce back after pretty big drops here. So we basically filled the entire gap after the report that they rejected the ceasefire. And we're starting to creep back up here. See if we hold. That's don't lie. We are going to be day trading later. Bro, what is with... I've had a bunch of people tell me a bunch of stuff came out that hasn't. Like, some people said PMI came out. Nope, didn't come out today. Some people said durable goods. Nope, didn't come out today. Now somebody's saying, didn't inflation data come out today? No, it did not. The inflation data is coming out next week. Okay, so the head of the media committee in the Iranian government, in response to what are called the 15 negotiation points, says enemies have drawn up a list of their own desires that they have been unable to achieve, end quote. And this is from Redbox Global. This is not the movie rental service Redbox. Different Redbox altogether. Again, it says U.S. stepped up U.S. efforts to secure a ceasefire. But Iran did declare 10 minutes ago or longer that a truce and discussions are not feasible under the present circumstances. Yeah, we had February import prices come out at 8:30. But it's not the biggest report. Import prices showed up at 1.3% versus 0.7%. So they showed up a little bit higher than expected. Which is to be expected. So, look, we're at 24.4s. Twitter exponentials right here at 4.461s. What's Jim Cramer's last post? All right, let's take a look. Jim Cramer. Yeah, so you know Jim Cramer, right, Britt?
Yeah,
Jim
I mean,
yeah.
I don't really consume, his stuff that often, but yeah.
Yeah, well, Jim Cramer, the big running joke of Jim Cramer is that there's an inverse Cramer dynamic. Like, basically, people saying go the opposite way of Jim Cramer. Because everything Jim Cramer says, and I'm going to joke around about this a little bit. I showed you guys this yesterday, but let me find it. We got the news Monday of a ceasefire potential. Jim Cramer said this post at 6:16 in the morning on March 23rd. Like, I want to show you guys. Jim Cramer said, wait. 24th. Here, I gotta go a little bit longer term. Yeah, Jim Cramer at 6:16 in the morning, which is right here. Jim Cramer said right here, the Bulls were in control for the morning. We have not seen that level since. Jim Cramer said that. We are now here. What a call by Jim Cramer. Yeah, I like Jim Cramer, actually. I think he cares about markets, you know. But I gotta make fun of the guy a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, stuff's going on. $60 today in futures. Yeah, I'm gonna start trading a little bit later. I just don't want to trade as breaking news is coming out for this stuff. It's too risky. Got multiple 250,000 challenges on Apex. Maybe I'll try to ask some of these. I got $150,000. All right, let's see. I think a short makes most sense here. We're gonna try to jump in short. Now this is just a challenge account. This is a $250,000 challenge account. I think we have to make 9,000 to pass it. I love you. This up so you guys can see it. I have to take a much bigger size here to hit 1,000. The good thing about Apex is you can pass it in one day. So if you get one good trade in there, you can pass it in one try. I don't necessarily recommend it, but what happens. All right. News comes out any time of the day. Why miss big move trends when they show up? No, I get it. I get it. I just think it's easier to day trade when we get more liquidity at the opening bell versus 45 minutes before the open when a bunch of crazy stuff's coming out. Not trading again before another 1% move on news and then maybe go for a quick reversal. Yeah, I'm shorting right now. I think that's the only thing that makes sense. I don't trust the ceasefire. We get more deep into profits. We'll add to this. Yeah. Yeah, this is a $250,000 eval account on Apex, guys. So yes, I do have 105 contracts. But full transparency, you know, it's an eval. Don't judge me in chat.
You seem indignant, John.
I'm defiant here. Don't judge me. You know, I'll take more contracts if you guys get more mad at me. You know? Nah, bro, you're mad? I'm not mad. What movie is that? I can't remember.
Well, I don't know. It was a pretty short line.
I know.
What was
Hold on. Okay, add more to this. Looks like short was the right move here. I gotta take a little bit of profit, I think. Look, now we're gonna bump it down to 75 contracts. No judgment zone? I appreciate it, Chris. I can respect it. Look at me, though. I'm gonna add more to this here, guys. We make sure no news is coming out right now. Go. Yeah, we took a little bit more off here. No, I'm gonna liquidate the rest that I just make. I just made 5,000 roughly. I need another 4. Who is John talking to? Is that Steve the Bear? Oh. That's my conscience. You know, talking in the background. Need to cover that water bill, right? Are y'all bullish or bearish on my water bill right now? Let's do the water bill poll. Are you bullish or bearish on my water bill right now? Bull or bear on the water bill? Up or down, guys? Up or down? Let me know in chat right now. Bull or bear? Water bill. My water bill really this cheap, dude? Wow. Bear? The Bears won. Honestly, dude. Look at this water bill. This is shockingly cheap for me. Shockingly cheap. $207, guys. Very low. The previous one was $455. Down 54%.
Like $30.
Yeah, but I wish mine was $30, dude. All right, so we're getting a little bouncier. Yeah, I mean, most day traders are going to lose in funded account programs, and most day traders are going to lose in general, guys. I'm trying to be real about it. Most people are going to act like you can get rich, and maybe you can, but most day traders lose. This is just the reality of it. I'd rather just be honest about it and tell you guys the truth. And I'm making money if you guys sign up regardless. If you use my coupon code BT, I make money, but I'm honest about it. Most day traders are going to lose, but it's a lot cheaper generally to try funded account programs than it is to fund your own account. Thousands of dollars, like a lot of new traders end up doing. Those new traders end up funding their account thousands of dollars. So you can limit that risk. Base one on Apex is like 17 something. Very cheap, very cheap. Cheapest accounts in the game. And that gives you some risk, right? The reason it's useful is it gives you some risk. If you fail, it's not the end of the world. You're out $17 for the base one or whatever it is. If you pass it, you know, you can get a funded account, 25K funded account. 90% split, I believe. And it's just a great way to learn. But again, they're an affiliate of mine. I am biased. I get paid by them. Also, remember, guys, I am not an investment professional. We are not liable if you lose money. Understand all this stuff on screen right here. I can't guarantee anything. Not an investment professional. We're not liable if you lose money. Be smart. Trade safe. We can't guarantee anything. Not financial advice. I'm the top 3 least financial advice giver in the world right now. Do not interpret anything here as financial advice, because it's not it. Definitely not it. Top 3 least likely to be financial advice on the stream ever. 250K account on Apex is... Oh no, there's only 150K account size now. I still have a 250K account somehow. What's my profit target here? Hold on. It's a legacy account that I'm trading right now. Let me see. Legacy. Eval. Rules. Somebody tell me what my profit target is on this account that I'm trading right now. They recently changed it. The only reason I even noticed this is because I got the bill for it yesterday morning, and I thought somebody... I didn't realize it because they got rid of monthly. It's no longer monthly subscriptions either. It's now just at your service. So head of the media committee in the Iranian government, in response to what are called the 15 negotiation points, says enemies have drawn up a list of their own desires that they have been unable to achieve. And you guys got to understand, Iran's leverage here is being able to kind of to the U.S. like, hey, we're not going to go with what you're saying. Yeah, we're getting closer to the opening bell today, guys. We're getting closer to the open. We'll see what we get today, but it's been volatile. Dude, the problem, I have a 49-inch ultra wide monitor. The problem is I have so many windows up right now that I lose the window that I'm trading on. Where's my trading window? That's it. This it? That's what I need. I exit out of Trade of 8? Maybe I did. I don't know. User issue. Yeah, I mean, look, I had 3 monitors on the bottom that I used to engage, but now it's... Yeah, their legacy accounts, 15K target is what a lot of people say. Log into. Okay, so I've made 5. I thought we were doing better than this. So I'll show you guys the trading here. Oh, this is... Yeah, yeah, this is the right one. We need to make another 10, is what y'all are saying. All right, let's start with 50 here. Apparently nobody knows what the price target is in the 25K, so I think it's 15. Thought it was 9. Maybe that's a smaller one. Definitely not 65. AI to the rescue here, guys. What was the price target? $15K. 6,500 drawdown. Contract limits 15 to 17. Mini contracts. We're gonna size in here. Micros. Get another flush back down here. Hey, nice simply. Thank you for introducing Apex, John. 13 days on PA account, 12 green, 1 hits daily loss limits. First requested $900. Hit my bank today, or hits my bank today. Hey, congrats, man. That's great. Great, brother. Appreciate the support. Alright, so we're almost flat here. See if we can go green in this thing. I gotta make 15K. I made 5. I'm a third of the way there. Opening bell is at about, what? 35 minutes. News is getting a little quiet for the day here. Iranian sources says what we seek is an end to the war, not just a ceasefire. Iranian sources. So here is what we see Iranian sources say. They said what we seek is an end to the war, not just a ceasefire, according to Fars News. Yeah, maybe this comment's getting a little bit more optimism here for things. But they want a full end to the war, not just a ceasefire, according to them. Yeah, that's bullish.
What that looks like.
Yeah, I gotta cut some of this. I'm gonna get out here. We're still green on this account now, but this is why trading right now is risky. Yeah, that news just dropped. Markets are seeing it as optimistic, at least so far. You can see the price of oil here. Brent crude at 88.50 a barrel, or WTI crude at 88.50 a barrel here. So, 88.50 a barrel. Not reacting the most to this, but markets are going up a little bit on this news. Yeah, look at the NASDAQ really react positively to this here. NASDAQ up to 24,470s right now, 24,470s. NASDAQ popping back higher here, guys. We now have about 30 minutes into the opening bell. 30 minutes. I'm going to trade on my funded account on Lucid today as well. I got to wait for some of this stability to curb some, to be honest. Makes me think of Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I feel like I'm fighting vampires in the 90s with this music going on.
Woe is me, I can't hear the music.
Yeah, it's basically like Blade music, techno.
Okay.
Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin over 71s, almost to 72s. Look at Bitcoin pop. Bitcoin is moving up here as well. We're at 71 740s right now, 71 740s. Yeah, I get it. Iranian sources saying they want a full end to the war, not just a ceasefire, apparently. You guys red or green so far today? Yeah, I'm glad I cut it, Lynn. It was getting a little close. So I saw it happening. I was just like, you know what? Let me get the heck out of this thing. Markets are interpreting the Iran thing as like they want a full end to the war, not just a ceasefire. You know, they want it all or nothing is basically what they're saying. And people are interpreting this. They're taking the first half of it. And they're saying what we seek is an end to the war. And they're saying, oh, Iran wants to end the war. And markets are going up, right? But the question is, can you trust this type of thing? Here's the NASDAQ. Question is, can both sides get together and do this reasonably? And essentially what they're saying is they don't, you know, they're pushing against the ceasefire. So,
I think for Iran, the end of the war probably looks like them getting what they want, but I might be wrong.
no, you're right. 100%. Yeah, we did have some news regarding ARM stock. Let's see, green, red, down 50, green, caught the drop earlier on the bad news. 5 green, now planning post office. Investors cannot turn 180 degrees to news at several times a day. I mean, they can. Honestly, that's kind of what we've seen here over the last 20 days. Look how whippy markets are the last 20 days, guys. I mean, we went up, and then we're down, and then we're up, and then we're down, and then we're right back up, and then we're back down, and then we're up again, and then we're dropping big, and then we're back up again, and now we're back down again. We got a slight downward trend here. You can kind of see we are moving down, but we're whippy right now. It's not easy to make money in this market. A lot of people are taking some of these days off, unless you're like shorting tops and buying bottoms and attacking choppy range. It's been a difficult time. Yesterday was very difficult to trade, very difficult. And so markets have just been indecisive, and not even that, but we're getting conflicting news or contradictory stories, and we have been for the last 3 days now, where we're just kind of going back and forth and back and forth, back and forth.
Well, I just kind of wonder, can anybody in the chat that's citing some of these different, bits of news, can they actually give you a source? I mean, for the stuff that you can't find yourself.
Yeah, which stories?
Just some of the ones that you were commenting on earlier. People, I'd have to scroll back.
Yeah, all good. Market is so whippy. I have 65,000 copies. Bruce, the Bears are here. Yeah, I mean, I like Bears more than Bulls right now. Steve, I'm on your team today, guys. Steve is right here. I don't know if you guys can see Steve. That's Steve over there. You know, not the guy above him. That guy's a genius above him, but Steve is right there. I'm on Steve's side today. I really am on Steve's side. I trust Steve today, at least, more than anybody else. So. We are seeing even more movement here at 9 a.m. So 9 a.m. is here. Orders are going through. Markets are actually going up a little bit right now at 9 a.m. Look at 24 460s. So we are increasing here, going up some. We check more news, make sure nothing happened. I'm pretty sure this is just the 9 a.m. volatility that we see sometimes. Look at this big pop. Got it at 9 o'clock. Let's see if it holds. All right, so Trump's tech panel is going to discuss AI policy and other matters, according to the Wall Street Journal. We also have the German finance minister saying the German society will have to work more. Lucid Trading is right here. So Lucid Trading, I would say the best thing about Lucid is that they have a direct-to-funded option as well. They have pretty relaxed rules. And so Lucid Trading is another funded account program. You can kind of see they've paid over 60 million to traders, 50,000 plus use Lucid, 15-minute average payout time. Pass an eval and get funded as little as 2 days or go straight to funded. And their straight to funded options, when you can go Lucid Direct, $238 if you use my coupon code BT at checkout. So it's only $238, which is cheaper than most of the other direct to funded options, I think. So direct to funded at Lucid, $238. Relaxed rules. A lot of people are talking about Lucid. Average payout time is 15 minutes on Lucid. So yeah, if you want to check out Lucid, I'll put the link up for there. I think Nightbot might have posted it. Yeah, you can scroll up and catch the Nightbot post. Just use coupon code BT on Lucid, BT. White House says President's Council of Advisors on Science and Tech will start with 13 members. Didn't somebody say the president was tweeting today? Or no, the president was doing some type of speech today. Is that right? Steve is my friend. $7:20 p.m. Last 3 days, I am watching your channel. I feel like you're giving ideas of trading according to your trade. Bad to say. I don't know what that means. But thank you. I'm going to take it as a compliment. Thank you, sir. NASDAQ is starting to push higher here. 24,477. Still edging higher. Bitcoin's rising as well. Bitcoin's at almost 72,000 this morning, so it's back up from what was it at yesterday? Like 69s for a little while, and then it got back over 70s. NASDAQ will push here. We're starting to fill some of the gap that we got earlier on the downside, so we're starting to move back higher here at 2470s. We'll see what the opening bell brings today, to be honest.
Can't find anything about Trump giving a speech today, so I don't think so.
Sometimes they're hard to find, to be honest.
Yeah.
You can look at the White House page, but it doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at that. All I saw was him swearing in Mark Wayne Mullen yesterday.
Yeah. It's hard to tell. Sometimes social media is where you see it. Let me see some. I think they said it was like 15 p.m. 7:20 p.m. Yeah, at 7:20 p.m. tomorrow, President will deliver remarks at the annual NRCC fundraising dinner at Union Station. You gotta watch crypto channels though, because crypto channels will act like it's the most volatile thing in the world, and then it's just gonna be like something small. Like I'm showing one person say Trump is gonna be delivering remarks at the annual NRCC fundraising dinner, and then another crypto channel say Trump is making an emergency announcement at 7:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Giga volatility. And it's just like, all right, man, sit down.
Kind of clickbaiting you.
Yeah. So, who knows if... It's mostly crypto channels do it. I'm bullish in crypto, by the way, guys. Like, I want Bitcoin to go up, you know. But some of the social media pages are just ridiculous. Trump is going to name Mark Z, Larry, and Jensen to tech panel group to advise the president on how to regulate AI, among other issues. Yeah, it's the age of social media, way low. All right, guys, we got 25 minutes until the opening bell. 25 minutes. Let's see if we can day trade here. Yeah, it's at 7:20. Again, Trump is supposed to speak regarding, again, I'm going to talk about it again. He's supposed to speak regarding delivering remarks at the annual NRCC fundraising dinner at Union Station. He might say stuff about Iran. So we'll see, but time will tell. But yeah, again, the president, we recently got news. I'm trying to see how NVIDIA, Meta, Alphabet are all pushing up. President Trump plans to install some of the biggest names in business, including Meta Platforms CEO Mark Z, Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, and NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang to a tech council to weigh in on AI policy and other issues. Apparently. I think I'm still in Oracle. Got it. Yeah, I'm still in Oracle. Starts with the rod and then proceeds with the stand-up routine. Yeah. Oil back down here, man. Again, just swing. $87.8. $87.8. All right, guys. We have this poll here going live. We're going to do another poll. Of this poll, we showed 57% were bullish, 43% were bearish. And I think you have to judge a couple different things regarding the Iran situation. You have to look at the past. Quick. All right, guys, so oil's still above 87. Yeah, I mean, oil's still really elevated. I was showing Britt this chart earlier, but here's oil. If you zoom out here, oil has had a crazy year. 12 months ago, oil was at $68 a barrel. It dipped all the way down to 55 in December and January. But by the end of February, there were rumors of this conflict starting, right? So oil was back up to 64.70. This is WTI crude. After this conflict started in March, you can kind of see these huge swings up for oil. Almost hit 120, back down to under 90s right now. But oil is still incredibly elevated versus normal conditions here. So again, I'm looking up historical patterns of dialogue before Middle East deals, right? Number one, public denial, but private engagement is perhaps the single most reliable signal. In nearly every case, one or both sides publicly rejected negotiations while back-channel talks were already underway. Right? This is very mirroring of what we see now. The Oslo Accords are the textbook example. Secret negotiations had begun in Oslo in December of 92, proceeded while the public Madrid talks were going nowhere. Escalation is leveraged right before the deal. So paradoxically, violence and threats often intensified in the days and weeks before breakthrough. All right. Third-party mediators are doing the real work. And so, yeah. Public denial on private channels, check. It's the biggest flashing signal. Iran's foreign minister told CBS that Tehran sees no reason to negotiate, will continue fighting. Yet at the same time, their foreign ministry spokesperson denied that they were negotiating altogether. And so we're seeing that. Escalation is leverage, check. Both sides are escalating militarily, even as diplomatic channels open. You know, that's going on. Third-party mediators doing the shuttling, check again. Officials from Pakistan, which delivered the plan to Iran, described the 15-point proposal, broadly, I mean, covering sanctions, relief, other stuff, ultimatums and deadlines, check, and maximalist demands being floated, check. So, at the same time, it might be a little bit harder. It doesn't mean we're necessarily going to get a deal done, but that's kind of what markets are looking at. My point is that before big breakthroughs and stuff like this, you know, Mark Twain famously said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. I think we're seeing some similarities in stuff with historicals with this conflict. But this one's a little bit different, of course, so it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get breakthroughs. We'll see what happens. White House spokesperson did say the U.S. economy will thrive after the conflict. Allies line up behind the president to open the strait, according to them. All right, guys, we are falling down to 24,442s here. 24,442s. So NASDAQ's coming back down. All right, Chad, we have 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So let's see what we get. All right, I'm kind of getting everything ready for the opening bell today, guys. We're going to mostly try scalping some of this movement here, but not a guarantee. April 2nd, we will have a deal. The likelihood we get a peace agreement on April Fool's Day. I think even if we do, nobody's going to buy it. Nobody's going to believe it. Everybody's just going to assume it's an April Fool's joke, to be honest. So. When do you think we get a deal done, Britt?
Honestly, not completely sure, but when one side or the other has no other choice, I don't know how much negotiating room Iran really has. I don't know if they can really project their power like they want everybody to believe they can.
Yeah, not 100%. And Mossad's director believes that the regime change in Iran will take a full year at least. Yeah. We'll see what happens with the oil prices. The Nasdaq is actually starting to fall back down. We are getting close to the previous closing price, close to it. Maybe we'll try to jump back in our eval short that we have here, waiting for the opening bell, and then we'll switch to our funded afterwards. Texas utility regulator says inflation data center electricity demand is causing grid planning problems. All right, guys, so we are getting ready for the opening bell. Again, are you guys long or short today? Put long or short right now. Kind of in the biggest choppy range here. If you look at the volume profile on the right side, you can see the biggest candle wicks and all this stuff are right here in this range, right? So this is when there's more balance between buyers and sellers while we're in this range, right? So what do we get? We get, you know, choppiness a lot of the time while we're in this range. As we start to break out of that range, we can kind of trend because there's less balance on one end. And so that's the range we're looking at today, if that makes sense. And maybe I can draw that here. I think I can put it a little. Still getting used to trading view. Or no, to trade evade. Put the top right around 500. Bottom at 75 right here. We're watching for this range specifically. Closer to the opening bell. Here, Britt, I hear something coming out on your mic.
There's nothing making any noise.
Oh.
But I'll mute it for now.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, it's up to you. It's not super loud.
You're still hearing it? I mean, it might be feedback from something, but I can't think what.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Okay.
Long oil. So I'm looking at the poll here. Long and short. Long oil. Long oil is basically a short. About to long my entire portfolio. Short. Tentatively long. Short oil. So a lot of longs and a lot of shorting oil is basically a long position. So mostly longs today, mostly bulls here. Again, we're looking at this this range. We do have the 200 exponential, and so I could short here, but we're just so much in this deep volume area that I'm worried about trends holding. I'll probably... We'll take some trades here. We try to short if we get a bounce. Bounce. Try to short into it. Break down here. This is like I said, this is a 250 eval. We're just playing right now. So we'll see if it favor here. We'll wait and see if we go green, and then we'll add some big size to it. I think that's a good way to limit risk. But we are heading into the opening bell in 10 minutes, and so could have choppiness. I remain long now. Fingers on the sell button. Hold. Neutral. Waiting and watching. We're going to add to this a little bit here. We'll hold this break even now. Hopefully it continues falling now. Check news. There we go. Much better here. I'm gonna take a little bit off just to protect it right here, and we're gonna hold the rest. Break down. Cut that last piece right time here, and we'll hold the rest break even. Time do we have? We have 9 minutes. Go. So far, so good on the short. Getting a big move down. Let me check news. Hold on. Marking on open. We're out. It's just close to the market on open. We made a bunch from that. If we get some opening volatility, but the Nasdaq breakdown here, starting to fall. 200 exponential, great. God, my mic keeps cutting out. Does it really? Test 1 2 1 2. Mic good? Let me know if we're good. We should be pretty solid. But let me know. Could be because I was talking when I was over here. Mic is good. Okay, I think. Fairly Microsoft. Question is, do I want to short another pop here? I think we look weak right now, but we are right around the opening bell, and we should be getting the market on open sometime soon. Yeah, it might be picking up your breathing, Britt, is what I hear.
It's possible, but I'm about 4 feet away from it.
Yeah. Got a little pop here. I haven't heard it. Your mic is good? Okay, good. All right, guys, we're heading into the opening bell. Hold your breath. Yeah. All right, so Trump is receiving daily briefings with video footage of the largest and most successful hits, according to NBC, citing U.S. officials. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes left until the opening bell. We're going to look at some specific levels here. I'm watching 450 right now. We might reject it and not even get back up to it. 425 did cause a little bounce here. And I hope you guys understand, like, look. 425 here. 450 here. 475 right around here. So I like looking at 25 increments. 500 is here. We're looking at 500 as well right there. 400 down here might be relevant too, based off of everything going on. But we're watching broadly this range here. We got this really deep isolated low at about 375 right here. And so we're definitely watching that if we continue to get weak into all this. We're watching this kind of block here. And if we zoom out a little bit more, we got more isolated lows. 320, the low of the last few days down here, is relevant as well. You can see 320 right here. That's a relevant level to pay attention to also. So that's what we're looking at. My bias is bearish, but the opening bell could certainly swing this the other way. Like, my bias is bearish, but the opening bell could swing right here. So just be careful today, guys. Let the things play out first. What we get? German Chancellor Merz says the best way to combat high prices is to end the war with Iran. We cannot cover all the additional costs from the federal budget. Bitcoin's still up over 5.4% over the past month. It's at 71.4s. Crypto market stabilizing some here. All right, here we go. We have 3.5 minutes until the opening bell, guys. 3.5 minutes. Your speech keeps dipping. All right, I could put it closer to the mic. See if that works better. Let me know if that sounds better. The 200 moving average. Yeah, this 200 exponential here is relevant. Yeah, I'm looking at rate cut odds too. If we look at the Fed watch tool here, guys, rate cut odds. Still not a chance of a pause. Or still not a chance of a rate hike, really. About 4% chance of a rate hike, 96% chance of a pause. June. Rate hike odds increase a little bit, but not by much. Your mic is bearish. Bit loud, but it's all good. Well, loud's better than quiet, I think, most of the time. All right, so I'm seeing this CNN reporter citing sources on a 15-point plan. They said various points seen as next to impossible for Iran to accept. Another said it mirrored the points the U.S. tabled with Iran in past talks. Yeah, I mean, I think markets mostly understand that it's a low odds that they accept all that. It's low odds that they accept all that, I mean. John, how come your kids don't come and greet you at open like they always do? Because the time changed in the U.S. They already came and greeted me earlier. Most of the stream probably saw it. My son had we talked about Mewtwo. He had a Pokemon ball with Mewtwo in it. But now they're coming in about an hour earlier, about 7:30. You know. So NASDAQ started to dip. All right, so look at some falling happening in the NASDAQ here. We have 2 minutes. Still getting feedback from your mic, Britt. Just mute it when you're not using it.
I was testing it.
Oh. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're at 435s. 435s. Market's opening in 2 minutes. It is 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for me. Or it's 8:30 Central Standard Time right now. But the market's about to open. 8:28. Do you guys not hear him? Can you not hear my friend? Say something, Britt.
What do you want me to say? I think they mean they can't hear the feedback that you're talking about. I might be wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Has it been doing it the whole time or just
No, recently? Just recently. Just recently. Here's the opening bell though, guys. Let's be ready. Let's be ready. Opening bell in 30 seconds. 30 seconds. We had a lot of news that dropped over the last few days. But we had ceasefire potential news that pushed the market up yesterday afternoon evening. And then this morning, Iran rejected that, essentially, according to FARS. And now we are heading into the opening bell. NASDAQ is starting to fall here. Let's see what we get. But the NASDAQ is starting to dip as we go into the opening bell today. So let's see what we get. We are going to be trading futures this morning at the open. We are going to be day trading futures. And there's the opening bell. If that's delayed, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Look at the NASDAQ pop right at the opening bell. So there's the opening bell. NASDAQ is jumping up right now. Let's see if this holds. Here we go, guys. Tried to get over the 200 exponential. We start getting over 500s. I might be interested in buying it, but for now, I'm looking for a short if we continue to reject here. We break specifically under 425s right here is what I'm looking at. So if we can dip under 425s and really especially get under 410s or 400s and get close to those lows of the day, then I'll short. If we get over 500, 24,500 on the NASDAQ, I'll be a little bit more interested in longs. But bulls are kind of showing up a little bit at the opening bell. It's not a crazy big move here. This is not like a monstrous move or anything. But the S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow are all green so far since the opening bell, pushing towards the top of that range here. So S&P is currently at 66.74s. NASDAQ, again, you can kind of see it on the screen, is at 24.5s. And the Dow right now is sitting at 47,000. 47,000 for the Dow. So the Dow is actually starting to creep back up. Oil, on the other hand, kind of stagnant at the open. It's not really doing too much here. Gold starting to rebound some today as well. So that is the story right now. See if we can hold over the 200 exponential. If we get over 500, I'll be a little bit more interested in this. But we do have to wait and let some time play out first. Why is SanDisk dumping? SanDisk is dumping down. I'm not sure. We have U.S. Interior Secretary Burgum is going to address oil executives at 9:40 Eastern Time today. All right, so far a little bit of greed at the opening bell. Waiting, but somewhat green here. Yeah, Google released new tech that threatens SNDK's position. Yeah, we're kind of stabilizing a little bit after pushing up slightly over the first 2 minutes of the open here. So we'll see if we continue to get some strength right now. We're over the 200 exponential. I believe this is Yeah, we got the 200 exponential up here. I'll put the volume weighted average price up here as well. I don't want the upper and lower bands. Is that volume weighted average price right though? Alright, so we're now starting to flush back down here. Back under the 200 exponential at 24,430s. Got a little opening range forming. The official information center of the Iranian government says, quote, regarding the terms and negotiations, the enemy has raised his own wishes and do not pay much attention to them. The enemy has turned to saying that we are negotiating. We negotiated twice, and in the middle of the negotiation, the enemy attacked us. This time, such a thing will not happen. End quote. So that news just released. That news just released. Very tight opening range for this morning. Very tight open. We're going to wait and trade it, but very tight. Now we're starting to push back up to the top of the range here. We have the first 5 minute range formed already, which is right here. Here's the first 5 minute range right here. It just broke. That's the first 5 minute range. Could be a bull trap. I'm waiting here. We're 5 minutes into the day, but I have to wait for a little bit of time first. Yeah, SNDK dumping down. It's at 650s. Alright guys, so we're starting to press the top of this range. Now we're rejecting back down. So the first 5 minute range formed. We're going to look for a longer term range here before we trade. How you guys doing? You guys trading this? Go ahead, edging higher here. Look at this rip. So we are starting to push up here. So we did start to break out of that range on both sides of the here. So we are starting to push higher in the NASDAQ. We tapped the top of this. We pushed over the top of this range. Here's 500 right here. That's why I drew this as the top, because 500 seems like a relevant level to watch. We get a dip down to the 70 or 80 level, 75 or 80 level. We might buy it, but we might not get that dip here because look at the NASDAQ push. Yeah, it's not looking like we're going to get a ceasefire right now, but, you know, anything could change, to be honest. So we'll see what happens regarding the ceasefire. If we get a dip here, 500s maybe. Be 485. I'd be okay with buying those dips. I just think it's very volatile right now. Yeah, you can see we kind of broke out of that first 5-minute range here and then just higher. I'll buy a dip. It needs to be a large enough dip though. Like 489s. I'd be okay with buying down here. I don't want to dip to 5. It's just there's not enough meat there to make, if that makes sense. But bulls are in control so far. 540 is that isolated top up here. You know, the high of the ceasefire news right up there at 550, 540s. Starting to press towards that now here. So gotta have enough meat on the move. Like a little baby pullback's just not worth it. It's too much risk. Too much risk that like a big move like this corrects. Is what it is. No. What are you guys thinking? You guys still interested in longs here? All right, we got a little bit of a pullback to 500, but again, I want 485s, maybe. Maybe we're not gonna get it. Got down to 490s. We wanted it right here. Didn't get it. Give it another chance. Start jumping in here now. Add some more of this. Try to take this big board area here. Again, this is an eval account, by the way. This is my Apex. We'll switch to our funded account after fast. We could have another day of chop, or we could just go really nicely in my favor here. How many shares it lets me buy. Here we go. We're off here. Go. We'll hold the rest. We're off up there. We have 50 left. Add to this back now that we're deeply in the green. 500 doesn't reject us, and we just be optimistic. Go. All right, so we've liquidated most of this. If we get a dip back down, we'll add to it on a pullback here to 500s. 500 bouts. Let's see if it holds now, though. It looks like bulls are in control, but I don't really trust any direction right now. So we did get news. Press TV has access to information about Iran's response to the American plan and Iran's conditions for ending the war, which will be published in a few moments here, apparently. So again, Iran's conditions to end the war should be published in a few moments, according to MEHR. Is that good or bad? Let's see how markets respond to this. We liquidated a lot of this just now. Again, this is an Apex 250,000 eval account, legacy account. I didn't even realize it charged me. But Apex, very cheap accounts, guys. Very cheap accounts. If you want to help support the channel, you check out Apex. So far, so good here. Go ahead and sell this one, right? Break even now. We're out. Yeah, we ended up making about 8 so far in this one. I think we need to make 15. And we'll switch to our Lucid funded account pretty soon. But yeah, Apex recently changed up their whole game. End of day drawdowns, no payout denials, no MAE rule, no 5-1 rule, built-in scaling, 50% consistency. Most day traders lose money, guys. So like risking something, but not the full extent of funding your own account, thousands of dollars makes sense. This one's $17.70 if you use my coupon code BT at checkout. BT at checkout, $17.70. You can get the end of day drawdown option. It's $30 if you use my coupon code. No rebill. Eval account active for 30 days. You can use Rhythmic. A lot of good options here. Up to 150 accounts, $74, $78 if you use my code. I'll put the link up. Great way to help support the channel. Again, most day traders are going to lose. So, yeah, they're doing 85% off right now. I think the sale ends in a few days as well. But again, here's the link. You can see it pinned at the top of the chat as well. Do I buy this here? I almost want to, but the question that markets are going to be digesting right now is, what does Iran's conditions to end the war look like? Right? Like, that's what markets are interpreting here, is what does Iran's conditions to end the war look like? A lot of people do not think they're necessarily going to be good. And so, yeah. See markets kind of correcting back down to the downside here. We're kind of in the middle range. So if you look at the volume profile on the right side here, guys, you can kind of see all of this like deep volume right here. This is where most of the buying and selling is occurring. So when you get here, you can have like a range. Once you break out of this, there's less buyers and sellers to stop the other side, right? So you can trend in either direction. But most of the buying and selling is getting done in this specific range here. And so that's when it's the most balanced, the most evenly balanced in terms of buyers and sellers. So that's what we're looking at now. So essentially, we need to break down under this range especially, and maybe we can attack this range down to like 370s for a longer term trade. VIX is spiking. Yeah, markets are going down. Again, this is essentially on news reported that they're going to post. Again, about a minute or two ago, Press TV has access to information about the response to the American plan and their conditions for ending the war, which will be published in a few moments. Pakistani officials did say there is no confirmed date or venue for possible U.S.-Iran talks in Islamabad, and Iran has not yet agreed to these talks as well, is what we're seeing. So we're back in the middle range. I'm not really messing with this here, guys. Yeah, I'm not really messing with this. The question is, do you want to be in any positions while we wait? Yeah, I mean, I think that's the story right now. That's what we got to watch for sure. We don't have any economic data to stop us today, so. Yeah, both sides want everything they want. All or nothing, basically, on both sides. And that's why. That's why it's looking a little bit more gloomy. You know? Oil. Look at it here. It's starting to creep back higher. 88.20s a barrel for WTI crude. Oman crude oil futures are down to 93. Gold. Pulling back a little bit. But yeah, markets are essentially pricing in unlikely to stabilize oil conditions. Week could take your trade, yeah. Right, we're in this high volume area. I'm not messing with this right now. I gotta wait for this high volume area to... I gotta wait to get out of this range here. All right, we're at 450s. Watching 450. Here, I want to see if this level rejects. Yeah, I'm looking at yields too to see what they're doing here. We're starting to break down. I'm looking under 425s. Especially under 420 here. But not an investment professional though, guys. Remember, I'm not liable if you lose money. Always make your own assessment. Trade smart. I can't guarantee anything. Understand all this stuff on screen. Nothing here is financial advice. Remember. Well, essentially what markets are waiting on and getting baked into right now is from... Markets are getting baked into potential conditions from Iran on ending the war that should be published in a few moments, according to MEHR News. All right, look at the NASDAQ dump here, guys. Let me see if this is why. Gotta check for, see if this is coming out. Look at the NASDAQ fall. We're under 420s right now. Get a little rebound back up. We will short. We catch it though. See, I wanted this move. We talked about under 4. Just happened so quickly. I see an informed Iranian political. Oh, that was a couple minutes ago. Yeah, this has got to be their condition. The conditions coming out. Look at the NASDAQ tumble here. Whoa. Wow. Markets are falling down here, guys. Markets are dumping down here. Again, I see an informed Iranian political and security source told Al Mayadeen that Tehran informed the friendly country of Pakistan that it can't accept the 15 items that make up the American proposal. Look at this drop. There's no confirmed date or venue for possible U.S.-Iran talks. We've not yet agreed to talks. gonna short this, guys, but it's risky. Gonna add to it, but a short break down the bottom of this range. Might have to bounce for a little while, but maybe. Bears are so far in control of this here. Sandesk is still dropping. Go. Still dropping here. Still falling. U.S. Interior Secretary Burgum says U.S. bought back 100 million in physical gold from the Venezuela visit. Yeah, I don't see any breaking news that would cause this drop. I think I'm gonna cover. I actually might short a bounce here. Scaling a little bit to this. Go. Shorting right into that resistance level. We'll add back if we go deeper into the green here. We'll let the rest slide. Yeah, so again, I've seen that news a couple different times, Vin, about there's no confirmed date about talks. They haven't agreed to them yet, is the news being. We're going to add back to this now. Try to cover the rest break even, but it looks like, yeah, there we go. All right, we're out. All right, so far so good. And again, guys, this is how you use volume profiles. Choppy range when the volume's the highest here. You see all these up wicks, these high volume nodes right here. And then once that volume settles down and we break out of that range, it's really good at identifying ranges here. We have a little bit more room to run. You can see how the volume slows down here. We have a little bit more room to run once we break through it. We're getting into another smaller node here, but good for ranges. If the breakdown continues here. Bear's definitely a control right now. As we go deeper into the day here. The Bears are definitely here in control. See what happens. Nah, this is in trade evade. Yeah, S&DK's down a lot. Nvidia is actually green since the opening bell and green on the day despite the red action that we're getting in markets here. Steve the Bear was right. I told you I was on his I told you guys I was on his side today. So I think his side made sense today. I think you could play off of the news a little bit and understand that Iran's conditions to end the conflict might not be interpreted as bullish. And again, it's all speculation. But I think with that knowledge and understanding that they're going to be releasing these terms sometime soon today, according to some of their leaders and sources and news, then you could you know, you could speculate that, hey, might not be the most bullish thing. Markets might start reacting to this now and dropping. Oil has been popping up, you know, in the same period of time since the opening bell here. And so I think that's the story right now, to be honest. And at this point, I think we just got to wait and see what that report says and see how this plays out. But again, I told you guys when we first started the stream, even Brent agreed with me that it's unlikely Iran is accepting this 15-point ceasefire deal. It's just unlikely. It's just very improbable that they're going to accept that.
I don't think they'll support or accept anything short of their right to enrich.
Right, 100%. And that's what they were saying. So prior to this conflict, the U.S. was meeting with them trying to get a deal done, and both sides were basically saying the opposite things. U.S. said, hey, you got to get rid of enrichment. They said, hey, we need to be able to enrich. They basically said, hey, you can babysit us, but we're going to enrich. And that's why nothing ended up happening with those talks. So now we're basically back to square one with that. And like you said earlier, Britt, I think it's going to depend on, you know, like we have to get to a breaking point. The U.S.'s breaking point is going to be oil related, and they understand that. Their breaking point is going to just be infrastructure, most likely on their end too. So see what happens here, guys. I think their breaking point's a lot worse than ours, but yeah.
I think our breaking point's just a little further away. It is oil prices, but I think it's more directly related to like midterm projections.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right, so Press TV has obtained information regarding their response to the American proposal and conditions for ending the war, which will be published shortly. Okay, so they're basically reiterating what they said earlier, repeating what they said earlier. We're starting to get a bounce. I don't trust this. I might short right here. Add to this and scale into this. We're going to keep it small, though, for now. If we just back down. There we go. Okay, that worked again. Start flushing down. We'll add to this. Oh, wow. I didn't even realize I was of this much. I'm going to add a lot to this. Like 30, 35, 40. Start to flush back down here. There we go. Yep. Like half off. Lock a lot of that in. Bearishness coming through here, though. Press TV set to reveal Iran's response to the U.S. planning conditions for ending the conflict. Press TV said Iran will end the war at the time of its own choosing. I'm going to take this off here and cut this position now to just 10 micros, and then we'll add to it if we go in the green. So if we lose, it's not going to be that big, but we'll add to it if we go. I'm checking the Press TV Telegram right now. All right, so we are deep in the green. Oh, all right, here we go. We're going to add to this now. Start liquidating this as we go into the profit. Look at this bearishness. I told you guys I was bearish today, guys. Bearishness makes sense. Okay, we're up. We're going to cut some of this now. Maybe add back here. Bro, I thought I changed Nightbot to not post it this much. Come on, dude. I'm gonna turn this off, these posters. We did get a pop back higher here. I'm still watching for this news coming out. Look at that bounce here. Okay, let's see if this came out here so far. Okay, so Iran Press TV said Tehran delivered via regional intermediary that it will continue defending itself. Iran reviewed the proposal and considers them excessive. Iran will not allow the U.S. Trump to dictate the timing and the end of the war. Iran reviewed, Tehran delivered via regional intermediary that will continue defending itself. Not as bad as maybe some people accepted, but still not good. First condition for end of war is end of attacks. Iran's official. So I think markets might actually interpret this as like bullish. I don't know for sure, but I think there's a chance they do. That the first condition in the war is the end of attacks, which is kind of like similar to a ceasefire, right? And so markets might see this as, hey, Iran is wanting to end the attacks too. The posts are coming out as we speak though, so just be careful right now. I'm curious to see if markets are going to start bouncing back here now. Seeing if they're, I don't trust the trade right now, to be honest. It said Iran will continue its defensive actions going until its requirements are fulfilled. Okay, that's not necessarily good. That might make the market drop. But we are seeing that Iran's conditions coming out. So far, just to recap, they reviewed the proposal, considers the proposal excessive. First condition is to end the attacks. It will not allow U.S. Trump to dictate the timing and end of the war. It will end the conflict when it decides. Keep defending itself. And markets are interpreting this as bullish. The markets have responded to this as a bullish thing here. Look at this big rebound here. I don't necessarily trust it, but if the bullishness continues. Big retracement back down here. I try to buy this a little bit here. It's the first long I think I've taken today, really. Well, we'll go, if we go green, we'll add to it. We're going to start this one, add to it if we go green. But it has a small loss. A little spicier taking a trade right now with these dropping a couple minutes. Markets are kind of chopping sideways here.
How much of these statements by Iran do you think is just posturing?
Oh, I mean, a lot of it, of course. No?
I tend to wonder how much control they really have over the end of the matter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, their control is a perception, like a perception thing. All right, so we are heading back up. I will add a little bit to this now. There we go. Unloading, yes sir. Okay. Go. Something happened. Let me see what they said. Got it right here. Big candle wick here. Now we're coming back down. I don't see any recent reports here regarding anything with stuff going on. We're gonna buy this again. Second long in the day, but like I said, we're gonna start small and add to it if it goes in my favor. If it doesn't, we'll cut it. Kind of my plan here in getting funded. I don't like these drops though. Go. There. Take half off. Maybe add more to it if we go in the kind of whippy price action though here. Okay, so Iran calls for solid assurances to avoid future wars. Sets 5 conditions for the war end. I think markets are interpreting this as positive. Iran has rejected a U.S. proposal to end the war, insisting any resolution will be on their own terms and timelines. Iran will continue its defense until demands are met. Previous proposals delivered through intermediaries are viewed as disconnected from realities and lack genuine intent, echoing earlier failed negotiations. We've been mostly green today. Question is, what do you guys consider these optimistic or no? Yes or no? Optimistic, yes. You know, in chat right now. There we go. We're getting deeper into the green here on this. We're going to add to it. Profit into this as well. We started to scale down our size. Closer. We're about $900, $800 away from the target that we talked about earlier. We'll add on a pullback here. EMA is what we're looking. We are going to be very quick to cut this. Don't love to see it. Yeah, I mean, it's risky. I got to cut this now. Big pullback here. Yes. No. Long way to go. Need to see how the markets interpret this. Yeah, we got a big drop. Not a big drop, but we got a drop here. Iran calls for definite decision and secure payment for war damages. Demands clear determination and guaranteed payments for war damages. I don't know here. Might pivot to a short. I think it's good they're having dialogue, to be honest. Even dialogue's kind of back and forth. Optimistic, perhaps more about reading. So we are bouncing back higher here. I'm going to short into this pop. We're going to take some size and try to get this last leg done, or kind of go big or go home. Green. Yeah, I didn't even mean to get... Oh, dude, I got hit. My target got hit, unfortunately. I just went a little bit too big there. I'm going to... Again, this is a legacy account, so I'm going to cancel this one. We could go play with a couple other ones today, but you don't love to see it. 50. I got a couple of these that hit. What's one profit target? I think it's 9 on the 150, right? Get up to that 200 exponential right here. Waiting for this one. Iran's press TV says Tehran says it wants the end of the war on Iran and other resistant groups in the region. Again, the 5 conditions: full halt to aggression by the enemy, concrete guarantees that war will not be imposed on Iran again, guaranteed and clearly defined war reparations, and an end to the war across all fronts, international recognition and guarantees of Iran's sovereignty authority over the Strait of Hormuz. That's essentially what we got going on. What do you guys think the odds are they accept this? I mean, it's obviously very low. But
0.
Yeah. I don't know if it's 0. I'd say it's point. It's 9998.
I was being a little hyperbolic.
I know. I'm just saying. Yeah, the good thing about Apex is, yeah, you can pass them in one day. That's what I'm trying to do here, is pass some of these in one day. I haven't trusted some of this volatility in my actual Lucid funded account. But we're going to try to get funded in one shot here. And again, if you want to check out Apex, link is in the description. You can also see it pinned at the top of the chat. We appreciate the support. Hard to trade with engagements coming out both fronts here. So kind of horsing around playing some of these today. Tomorrow we do have jobless claims unemployment. Did I get hit already? Yeah. It's all right. Anyways, I'm probably going to shut it down for now. Markets are up and down. We will be back tomorrow. We do have jobless claims unemployment going live tomorrow. Jobless claims unemployment going live tomorrow. Yeah, guys. Oh, be careful. See what we get. You guys bullish or bearish for the rest of the day? Yeah, I'm not seeing much change in the original conditions from yesterday. Really. What do you guys think? The bull, bear, find a spot. Thanks for the stream, John. Flat channel, bear, bear, bear. I see a Steve. Bear, neutral. Hope a pump. Pump would mean we need to see de-escalation.
I think it may end up just leveling out.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I don't really see any other. Again, Iran wants international recognition of its authority over the Hormuz Strait. Need guarantee any future attacks on the country. Yeah, but I mean, even if they get a guarantee, you know, it doesn't. I mean, I think that one's kind of. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here. Again, use coupon code BT on Lucid, BT on Apex if you want to help support the channel. A great way to learn how to day trade. Most day traders lose money. If you fund your own account thousands of dollars, you're probably going to lose. Like most new traders do. Most day traders just lose, guys. That's the reality of it. So you can try to fund your own account. Most day traders are going to lose. Again, the current administration is working with Pakistan to arrange a meeting this weekend to discuss an off-ramp for the conflict, apparently, according to two senior administration officials. So we'll see what happens. But choppy NASDAQ is choppy, although volatile nonetheless. I get my news from a bunch of different places here. Hey, thank you, Jeremy. Get it, dude. I'll be safe. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Y'all be good. Remember, not an investment professional. We'll be back tomorrow. We got jobless claims, unemployment filings going live tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I'll see you guys then. Be good. Have a great day. See you guys later.